Hello everyone. In this video, I want to give you guys a closer look and share some of my thoughts about the Apologetics in Action course from Master Books. It includes these 4 books here along with the teacher's guide. So I've got the books right over here, and I'm going to start off by giving you a look inside the teacher's guide, show you how it's set up. And then I want to show you some flip through some of these books as well, actually all of them, and talk a little bit about them as well. First of all, I want to let you know that this curriculum was sent to me for free by Master Books, so I so appreciate that. I originally planned on using this with my 7th grader this year and found that it was a little too challenging for her, so we will save it for future years, or maybe even to use with my current high school student in the next year. But honestly, you guys, these books right here are books that every single Christian should read. I have added these to my very large stack of books that I want to tackle over this next year. And here's why. As we get together with friends, neighbors, family members who are not believers, what are the questions that they have for us? They're asking us questions about, how do you even know the Bible is true? How do you even know that it is a book written by God? How do you know it's true? You guys, 2 volumes right here addressing that. What's the other question that we get from a lot of family members, friends, neighbors is, well, what about these contradictions in the Bible where it says one thing here and this other thing here? And well, 2 volumes again on demolishing supposed Bible contradictions. And so as we engage the culture, these are 4 books that I think are really important for us to read. And I'm excited. I've read through parts of each of them and excited to actually work my way through all of them, hopefully in this next year. So these are books that I think really all of us as believers should be reading. And what Master Books has done is they have taken these great resources that we have and turned it into an apologetics course for our high schoolers, which is awesome. So I want to go ahead and start by giving you a look inside the teacher's guide, then we'll go ahead and look inside these books. Here's the teacher's guide, and I have tabbed everything to make it really easy for me to flip to the sections that I want to show you. If you are not familiar with Master Books curriculum, the teacher's guide includes the student worksheets. And so the student worksheets are going to be in here along with everything that the teacher needs as well. When you open it up, there's going to be some helpful information in the beginning, and then you are going to get to the daily schedule. And so one of the great things about Master Books curriculum is that they have this lesson planning already done for you. So your high school student can rip these out. As you can see, we've already ripped them out. They're already hole punched. They can put these in their binder, and they know exactly what they need to do. You can write a due date in here if you'd like to do that. They can check off when they've completed it. You could put a grade or sign your initials to show that you have graded, you've looked at it or whatever. But the lesson plans are right here. So that is wonderful. Like I said, your student can rip those out. The way that this course is set up is that your student is going to start off going through this book right here, Demolishing Supposed Bible Contradictions, Volume 1. Then from there, they will move into How Do We Know the Bible is True, Volume 1. Then they will go back to Demolishing Supposed Bible Contradictions, Volume 2, and then finish up with How Do We Know the Bible is True, Volume 2. All right, so that's the lesson plans. The next thing here is, as you can see, Apologetics worksheets for use with Demolishing Supposed Bible Contradictions, Volume 1. So as your student is reading through this book, there's going to be worksheets that correspond with it. And all of the worksheets that have to do with Demolishing Supposed Bible Contradictions, Volume 1 and Volume 2, are set up the same way. The first couple are just essays, and then you'll see they're eventually an essay summary along with answering your critics and those seeking truth. And that's how all of these worksheets are set up for the demolishing supposed Bible contradictions. The next section here is for the worksheets for how do we know the Bible is true. This is the section for Volume 1. Volume 1 and Volume 2 of How Do We Know the Bible is True are set up the same way. They are short answers, which are really just fill in the blank. So, not essay questions or anything like that for this section. It's just short answers, fill in the blank. The next section then is going back to demolishing supposed Bible contradictions. This is Volume 2. And as you can see, same thing, the essay summary and then answering your critics and those seeking the truth. And then the next section here, how do we know the Bible is true, for Volume 2. And like I said, these are all short answers. The next section here is the weekly quizzes. So there are weekly quizzes that go with this curriculum, and they are behind here. I don't want to show those, but there are quizzes there that you can rip out and give to your student. The next section is the semester essay tests. So there is obviously tests for at the end of each semester. And then the last section here is the answer key. And so there are the answers to everything here, so all the worksheets and obviously the quizzes and the tests. So that's just a quick look inside of the teacher's guide. If you are familiar at all with master books, then you're probably familiar with how the teacher guide is set up, because they set all of their teacher's guides up pretty, they're all pretty similar. So let's go ahead and move on to the books. Here are the 4 books that your student would be reading through if they go through this Apologetics in Action course. We're going to start by looking at the Demolishing Supposed Bible Contradiction books, and I'm going to actually start here with Volume 1. That seems to make the most sense. I want to make note that Ken Ham here is the general editor, and then for Volume 2 there are 3 editors. But why I want to point that out is they're editors, but the different articles or chapters in here are written by different people. And I really appreciate that, because what that says to me is they found people who know these specific things and can address these probably better than others. And so it's nice to know that they have a wide range of writers contributing to this book and helping us to address these supposed Bible contradictions. So what I want to do is open up here, if I can, to the contents here and just run through this really quickly. Obviously, there's a foreword and an introduction. So you have some supposed Bible contradictions that are addressed here for the book of Genesis. Then you have some more from Exodus through Deuteronomy. So anything that comes up in Exodus through Deuteronomy. And then we have ones for Joshua through Malachi, Matthew through John, and then Acts through Revelation. So I just like to randomly flip through and kind of show you some of the different supposed Bible contradictions that are addressed here. This one is called My 3 Sons. It says, were Noah's sons born when he was 500, as Genesis 5:32 says, or not, as stated in Genesis 7:6 and Genesis 11:10? Okay, you've got to get the book and read it to know the answer. This one is, can God be seen face to face? And then they have the Bible references, or not. So obviously some passages that talk about seeing God face to face, and some say we can't. Well, is that a contradiction? What's that all about? Does God condone polygamy? Okay, did you ever wonder about that in the Bible? Did Judas Iscariot die by hanging, or did he die by falling and bursting open? So lots of different questions that are legitimate questions. And one of the things that is my goal as a homeschool mom is I want to answer the tough questions for my kids. I want to show my kids that the Bible is reliable and that it is truth and that it doesn't contradict. And I want to be able to answer my kids' tough questions. And so this is a great resource for that. So that's just a quick look into Volume 1. I want to show you Volume 2 because it is set up tiny bit differently. So let's first go back over, or not back, but to the front in the table of contents here again. Same kind of thing, Genesis, Exodus through Deuteronomy, Joshua through Malachi, Matthew through John, Acts through Romans. One of the things, though, that is a little different here is when it asks a question, it states the problem, then it has the solution and usually and then a conclusion. For example, here, did Abraham have one son or more than one? Okay, here's the problem, and here's the solution and the conclusion. Let's flip to another one. Okay, Moses, was he fit or feeble? Deuteronomy 34 states that Moses was in good health at 120 years old. Does Deuteronomy 31 suggest otherwise? So here's the problem that would kind of be the supposed contradiction, and then the solution. I'm just flipping to these randomly. So this one is, did Jesus contradict himself by calling people fools? And so again, you can just see that this one's set up a little differently by kind of pointing out the problem and then giving a solution. Did Jesus appear to the 11 disciples on a mountain in Galilee or in Jerusalem behind closed doors? So I'll do one more here. God said it was not good for man to be alone. So why did Paul say it is good to remain single? And so lots of questions that, even us as adults have. And so we want to not only be able to give our kids good answers, but we want to have good answers, right? We want to be able to understand the Bible and have confidence in God's word as well. All right. The next two books here is How Do We Know the Bible is True? The first thing that I want to point out again is that these are Ken Ham and I think it's Bodie Hodge are editors, and so different sections, different chapters are written by different people. Let's go ahead and start with Volume 1. All right, when you open up Volume 1 over here on the table of contents, remember this is How Do We Know the Bible is True? And so lots of different questions. Did the physical resurrection of Christ really happen? Did miracles really happen? How should we interpret the Bible? And as you can see, there's different authors that are writing these different chapters. Volume 1 does have an afterword by John MacArthur, and then something that I did appreciate here in Volume 1 is the author biographies, because I like to know about the people that are writing these things. I mean, I'm reading what they're saying. I'd like to know kind of what their credentials are. And so there are author biographies in Volume 1. There is not in Volume 2. So I'm just going to flip through here real quickly and give you a quick look inside. This one is, what does biblical authority have to do with today's church and culture? Is the New Testament reliable? Is the Trinity three different gods? One of the things you'll notice possibly is that there are charts, diagrams, some pictures scattered throughout here. Not a whole lot, but there are some, I think, when appropriate, when they could put them in. This one was, it looks like a long one. How did we get the Bible in English? That's great for us to know. How do we know the Bible is true? How did we even get it in English? Let's see if we can find another one here. This is called Framework Hypothesis. I'm not sure what that one's about. Again, you've got to get this book to be able to find out all the answers to this. How can we stand on scripture in an evolution-pushing culture? So lots of great things here. Evolution, the anti-science. So that's just a little flip through of Volume 1. Oh, there's a little kind of cartoon there. All right, let's look at Volume 2 then really quickly. I'll show you the table of contents again here. Hopefully you can kind of see there, and I'll just flip through this really quickly. This one has an afterword by Bodie Hodge, and then there is no author biography on this one. So let's see what's in here. So here's a little diagram picture. Why is the Bible unique? Just trying to see if I can show you anything else that maybe we didn't see in the other one. So again, there are diagrams and pictures. This one's about radiocarbon dating. Let's see what this one is here. I don't even know how to pronounce that. What about Theophanies, or appearances of God in the Old Testament? Is that how you say it? I don't even know. Big words for this homeschool mama. The missing Old Testament books. So again, lots of great questions that we need to have answers to. And again, there's some pictures and diagrams and things like that in this book. So that's just a quick look inside these 4 different books that come with the Apologetics in Action curriculum from Master Books. If you have any questions about this curriculum, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I'll try to do my best to answer them. Obviously, we have not worked our way through this curriculum yet, but plan on doing that with hopefully most of my 6 kids that I'm still homeschooling in the future. If you have used this curriculum, please let me know what you think of it down in the comments. Share your thoughts and opinions of it. And I hope this was helpful for you. One thing that I do want to let you know, again, Master Books did send this to me for free to share with you, but they're not sponsoring this video, and they certainly didn't ask me to say this, but I did want to let you know that Master Books has a Moms of Master Books Facebook page that is full of encouragement and helpful information about the curriculum. So if you're thinking about using Master Books, if you use Master Books, that is a great place to find out more, to learn more about the curriculum, how it's working for other families, and just to be really encouraged. So encourage you to check that out. I will try to remember to leave a link to their Moms of Master Books Facebook page down below.